Hi, I'm Diana, and I love organizing chaos. And this is my template for onboarding newcomers into your team. So let me explain how it works. It consists of different sections, some of which you will delete, some of which you will keep and adjust to your actual team and to your actual processes. And then with the click of a few buttons, you will be able to have all your tasks and be able to track all the onboarding for the newcomer. So one thing I want to say in the beginning that it is your job as an employer to set up your newcomer for success, which means setting clear goals, objectives, giving them the tools, and supporting them on their onboarding journey. And by doing that, you will allow them to show what they can actually do and how they can help the company grow. So this template is free. You can use it. You can add it. We will see how to do it. The only thing I ask is if you have any feedback or suggestions, please reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Diana Dayoub, and you can give me some feedback and we can improve this template for other people. Thank you. So how do we use this template? It consists of the sections that are newcomers onboarding pages. These are the pages that you create for the newcomers who comes in, and in them they will see the tasks that they will be doing to get onboarded. At the same time, you will be tracking which newcomers you have in your team. We have James Franco as an example, a theoretical James Franco. And when you track the newcomers that you have in your team, this section will be for you as an employer and the tasks that you need to do as an employer to pre-onboard, onboard the person. And their tasks will be here. We will look into it in more detail in a little bit. So how we work with it. First, we have to press duplicate in this corner and we have to add this template into our Notion. If you don't yet have a Notion register, it's a really cool tool. I highly recommend. So we add it to our workspace. When we have it in our workspace, we can start working with it. So first, what we want to do is we want to adjust our onboarding tasks that we will be doing as an employer. How can we do it? You don't do it here in existing newcomer page. You do it here in editing the template. So instead of pressing new, you press this little arrow. When you see newcomers default, you press three dots, edit. And this is how we start editing our template. So here we don't see any tasks. Where are they? Well, they are default tasks that get created by the magic press of a button. But before we press that button, we want to edit the button. We want to edit the actual tasks that will be created. So here we have some template tasks that I've created. For example, we created Google account for our newcomer, share their temporary login and password, purchase laptop, set up software, set up office access if you have an office, prepare contract and NDA and then sign it, set up salary and so on and so on. You can read them yourself. What you can do is remove the tasks that you don't have that are irrelevant for you, add tasks that are not here that you know you will be doing. You can also set up some default properties. So for example, automatically all these tasks will be correlated to the newcomer that you're creating. At the same time, you can add subtasks. You can create connections between the tasks you're creating here. You can create relations, which task is blocked by which task. You can set a default status. I assume it's not started, is the default status, and task names. And here is very important, when you create a new task, let's say we want to create a new action. We want to create a new task. In which database will be in the onboarding tasks. It will be created as the task default. It's just an empty page for a task. However, for example, we have a different template for a task, which is called tools access. Here, you will be able to list which tools should be given access to your newcomer. You can also create more templates of these, and you can add them here, and I will show you later how to do it. Okay, so let's say we want to create a newcomer. So what we will do is we will press new. We'll give them a name. The name will be Frank James. And we can set a responsible person for this newcomer. We can choose what department they're in. We can choose who their manager is. We can add probation dates. Let's say it's 3 months. We can add an end date and put it 3 months from today. And then what we do is we press the magic button at default tasks. And then we have to just wait a second and they all appear here. So then we can go back to our onboarding tasks. database. And here we will see all the tasks that we need to do for Frank James that we just created. And for example, James Franco was already in the process. We already did most of the onboarding and pre-boarding, and he's in the second month of his onboarding process. Here is, by the way, the tools that I was showing you. So how you create more default tasks to add, you do it here. Not in this database of newcomers, but in this database of tasks. We press the little arrow and we can create new template. Let's say the template will be, we want to make a template for legal stuff. And then we can put here contract info, NDA info, accounting info, and we can write whatever we want here. And then we have this template. So then if we go back to edit the template for our newcomer, we go back to editing the magic button, and we go and we create a new task at page 2. Remember, we choose our database onboarding tasks, and we choose the task, this one, legal stuff, and it will be automatically created. So this is how it will work for you, the person who is onboarding a newcomer. You can see also your newcomers by stage, which tasks are in pre-boarding, onboarding, post-boarding. You can see by status who is doing what to onboard the people on your team. Now let's go into the onboarding for the actual newcomer, what it looks like for them. Let's go to the onboarding for James Franco that we already created. Here are the tasks for them divided into the timeline, what they should do on day 1, what they should do in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, month 2, month 3. This is assuming you have a 3-month onboarding process. For example, on the first day, they need to sign their contract, which they should have already received. They need to talk to accounting to set up their payments. They receive the Google account from you, and they can set up, log into all the tools that you invited them into. They can introduce themselves and to the team. Maybe they need to set up meeting expectations with the manager. So what we can do here is go inside all these tasks and see what they look like. For example, here in the contract and NDA, you could put in information, how they will receive this information, and if they have any questions, tag the person here, whether it's the founder, accountant, lawyer, anyone you have, operations manager, whoever you have on the team. If you're creating a Google account for them, you can give them their name, their temporary password, and then they know they have to log in, change the password, and set up their 2-factor authentication. We want them to meet their manager, the person who will be helping them get onboarded throughout these 3 months. We explain why the manager will be working with you and why you should set up regular meetings. And then we ask you to set expectations. What does this mean? To know clearly your role, what responsibilities are a part of it, what would be the main goal for the first 3 months, objective for the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And this block, as you see, becomes red. Why? Because then if we go into the tasks of weekly meetings with the manager, you will be able to have their check-ins, discussions, the meeting agenda. But as a reminder here, we have the synced block. So as a reminder, you will have your roles and objectives. And for example, if you're doing reflection and feedback on the previous period, you can go back and see, hey, what were the objectives for my first 30 days and 60 days? And then if you do any edits to these objectives, they will be edited everywhere at the same time. And you can see that you have these weekly meetings throughout all the weeks, and 4 of them more in month 2, 4 of them more in month 3, however we want it to work. For example, for introducing yourself, let's say you're using Slack or WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever other communication platform, you can have the template here for them, how they can introduce themselves to the team. You can add that to fit your company. And then perhaps you have an administrative form they need to fill in. Maybe for future events, you want to know if they're vegan. Maybe you want to send them merch, a hoodie, so you need their clothes size. Maybe you want to do company retreats, so you need to know what their passport is, which country, and so on. So all of this you can add it here. By the way, you can turn into a form and just remove all the questions from here and put the link into the form. I believe it's important to get on board with the whole team as well. To do that, I suggest having usual coffee or in-person coffee if you're in the same city with your team members. And here we also put it as tasks throughout the onboarding process to meet at least maybe half of the team, depending on how many you are in the first 3 months. Also, as a fun gamification process, you can send them merch. Let's say they finished all the tasks they had to do in the week 1, then you can deliver them the first part of your company merch. Let's say it's a mug or a hoodie. And then at the very end of their 3 months, you can send them something bigger. Maybe you want to send them, I don't know, meditation app subscription or more hoodies or delivery app credits to get some celebration cake. And maybe then you want to tell them, hey, now you are very free and very welcome to add the company to your LinkedIn and have your community celebrate with you. I also recommend asking for feedback on your onboarding process. And here I added some questions that you can ask. You can move this into a form and then replace this whole thing with a link. Otherwise, you can leave it like this and have people fill it in, and then you can come here and read it here. There are also some things that are important here for you to know for your company. For example, there are team policies on vacation, sick leave, education, maybe charity policy. Here they all should be linked so the person has a chance to read them. If you don't yet have these policies, I highly recommend you create them. It's very important for everyone in the company to be on the same page, and then you can just link them here. Same thing goes to about the company. You can talk about history and values of your company, how it was founded, where it started from, and where we are today. You can also talk about the company, how we work, our work processes for project management, for engineering, for marketing, sales, for HR operations, for any other departments, processes you might have. Maybe you want to talk about the strategy for your future so that everyone on the team is aligned on this. As well as you want to talk about the products and services that you offer and the actual clients, your customers that you have, and maybe their feedback, some inspirational quotes to show how you're really helping your audience. If you don't yet have these things written out about your company, again, I highly recommend you do this. This will help your whole company get on the same page, know who you are, what are you about, who you're helping, how you're helping them, where you're going. Okay, so how do we edit all of this thing to fit your company? All right, we go back to our main page, and then we find the magic button again, and we press the edit button next to it. And here we have, when the button is clicked, the onboarding for name will be created. So we go into the onboarding for name, and now we're editing a template. So now that we're editing a template, for example, we don't have an office, so we will just remove this whole thing. And then maybe we have team policies, so we will go and add the links here and use them. And for example, we have about the company section, we can link it here as well. So maybe we don't send them merch on the end of week 1, so we delete this from here as well. For example, the book that is super important to read in our company will be called Difficult Conversations. By the way, this is a very good book by Harvard Negotiations Project. For example, this is the book that is a must-read in your company. They have to start reading it when they start getting onboarded. They will understand better your culture. So then you can edit it here. Maybe you can give them a copy, a paper copy of it. Maybe you can send them a digital version of it so they can read it, whatever you want. You have to also go into meet the manager, set expectations here. You want to describe in your tone of voice how they're working with the manager. Maybe you don't have a manager who's managing them. Maybe it is the founder. Maybe you are doing this. And then maybe you want to change this section. If you change it here, for example, you want it to be 60 days, not 90 days. We remove this here. We remove 3, we replace it with 2. And then remember when we go to the meeting notes, and we will have our check-ins and so on agenda for the call. If we go here to get reminded what our roles and objectives are, you see we removed the 90 days and it's the first 2 months, and now it works this way. Yeah, for example, if it's 2 months, we can delete this whole thing completely. Let's say they received their gift at the end of 2 months and update their LinkedIn then and give us feedback then all of these we can delete. Maybe we can do it this way. Delete, there you go. 3rd month, we remove this thing as well. Okay, now we have a 2-month onboarding process. Let's say our team is very small, so we don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coffees to have. Maybe we're just 3 people. Okay, then you can remove these digital coffees if you don't think they're needed. Yeah, just make sure you adjust this to yourself. For example, you go back to feedback and you don't want to keep the questions here. You can use them as a basis to create your form. You remove them from here, fill in the form. You just put the link here when the form is created and you're good to go. Let's say you don't use Google, you use Microsoft. You will replace it here. And the information you update it here. Be careful, don't edit the information in the template to fit one particular newcomer, because this is a template for all newcomers. So for example, by accident, don't put the Microsoft account information for Frank James here. That will be the template for any new newcomer you have. As a reminder where you can do this, let's say we're finished editing this. We go back to newcomers and onboarding, and we have Frank James who's coming soon. What we do is to press the magic button. We have onboarding for name. Let's go. Let's replace this. We have Frank James. Welcome, Frank James. Names. And then we see now, remember, we removed the third month. We have our template for 2 months. And now here we go and put the Microsoft account for them with their temporary password and so on. And let's say our Frank James is joining our engineering department as we put it here, right? We see here, Frank James is in engineering. So then we need to add additional tasks that Frank James will be doing as part of his onboarding as an engineer. So let's say in week 2, we want Frank James to start reviewing code. And so here we write this, reviewing code. And then we can open this and clarify what this task entails, and they will have it on their to-do list. So we've created our own Frank James. Let's say James Franco, it was our example, so we can just delete him from here. We can also go to our newcomers database, delete James Franco, because again, he's our example, but Frank James is already a real person in our team. And then when we go to the onboarding tasks for us as the employer, we can go and we can see that we deleted James Franco, but all his tasks are here, so we want to delete them as well. All right, some of them are still here. No newcomer. This was James Franco. We delete them as well. And well, there you go. You have your template that you set up. Remember, you can delete this. You have how to use this template. There's a lot of instructions here. What I recommend is adjust these instructions to your team, because as you will be growing, you will have more people running this. For example, you, the founder, are running this right now, but in the future, you want to hire operations manager or you want to hire an HR manager who will be running this for you. So then maybe these instructions are needed here. So don't delete them completely, but do adjust them to your own pace. And well, there you go. This is my onboarding newcomers guide. If you have any questions, you know where to find me on LinkedIn. My name is Diana Dayoub. Thank you for being here today with me, watching this. I appreciate your time. Good luck with your newcomers. It is so exciting to welcome new people on the team. I'm sure they'll do great. I'm sure you'll do great. Have fun. Enjoy.